Day Street Books and Harper Audio present Perversion of Justice, the Jeffrey Epstein Story by Julie K. Brown. Read by Julie K. Brown and Julia Whelan. This book is dedicated to all of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors, especially Michelle Licata, Courtney Wild, Virginia Giuffre, and Jenna Lisa Jones, with special thanks to Michael Ryder and the late Joe Recarey. Author's note. Unless otherwise noted, all the information contained in this book is from my own reporting and interviews or court or government records. The names of some of the victims in this story have been changed to protect their privacy. Preface. In September 2006, Detective Joe Recarey handed state prosecutors in South Florida a textbook underage sex case he thought would be a no-brainer to prosecute. For at least 6 years, multimillionaire financier Jeffrey Edward Epstein, 53, and others working for him had been luring middle school and high school girls to his waterfront mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, by offering to pay them for massages. The girls, mostly 13 to 16 years old, arrived at all hours of the day and night, whereupon they were sexually abused in acts ranging from inappropriate touching to rape. Afterward, Epstein paid them $200 to $300 each, then offered to give them even more money if the teenagers brought their friends, creating a revolving door of fresh young girls to fill his pedophile obsession. Epstein was wealthy enough to buy anything he wanted, including prostitutes, but he didn't want experienced women. His preferred prey were waif-like, prepubescent girls from troubled backgrounds who needed money and had little or no sexual experience. These were girls he thought no one would believe, and Epstein and his accomplices would do everything in their power to silence them. Palm Beach police nevertheless did their due diligence, interviewing about 36 girls and building a solid criminal case. They compiled thick files of evidence to support the girls' accounts, including phone records and messages, documents, plane manifests, and witnesses' statements. Epstein hired the flamboyant Harvard lawyer Alan Dershowitz, who met with Barry Krischer, the Palm Beach state attorney responsible for prosecuting the case. Soon, criminal prosecutors were no longer scrutinizing Epstein. They were excoriating his underage victims. Over the course of a year, everything that Recarey believed about justice was shaken to its core. Krischer, seemingly dazzled by Dershowitz's fame, would turn his back on the victims and the police working the case. Epstein and the private investigators hired by his lawyers stalked and threatened the girls and their families, tearing their lives apart. Ultimately, the FBI would take over the investigation. The man who would oversee the federal case was a young, rising star in the Republican Party who had ambitions to become a U.S. Supreme Court justice. Renee Alexander Acosta, 37, was sworn in as U.S. Attorney in Miami in October 2006, just as the FBI began to suspect that Epstein's crimes went well beyond South Florida. Epstein had given liberally to Democratic candidates and causes, but he knew that if he wanted the Republicans then in the White House in his corner, he needed someone with clout in Washington. His legal dream team included Kenneth Starr, the former independent counsel, who had employed his skills of moral outrage and prosecutorial skill to make the case for President Bill Clinton's 1998 impeachment. Citing a solemn intent to ensure fairness and integrity in the administration of justice, Starr asked the Justice Department to essentially quash the federal case that prosecutors in Miami were mounting against Epstein.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?